Welcome to day 14. So before I show you the things that have arrived that I'll be tackling this weekend, there's something in regards to this rear spoiler. Now, because my daughter wanted the bale side kit, I had at my brother-in-law's a bale side rear spoiler of an Integra that I used on my R32. So what I'm going to do is place it up on the rear there and show you what it looks like, and the project that will be the rear spoiler is going to be trying to graft this donor onto that. So I'll show you what it's going to look like. You need to use a bit of imagination here. So taking these here out, bringing that down into here, maintaining this eye level brake light, and then grafting this onto there. So it will sit about that high. So basically that's the height it's going to sit, but not this far back. It's going to go forward. So it'll be around here. You've got to use a bit of imagination here, but when we held it up there it looked pretty good. So that's basically where it's going to go. So that's going to be fun, trying to get this to work with that. And then if all else fails, I'll fall back to the Series 2 rear spoiler, but I'm going to give this a go. Why not? Some of the things that arrived today are, I have a full silicon hose kit, some replacement double DIN radio brackets, because what I've got at the moment is just some really roughly fabbed up crappy metal pieces of shit, and another climate control unit, because the one that I've got is a bit dodgy. It just works when it wants to. Or if you're Matt Armstrong, you'd say, well, brand new second hand. It's brand new, but it's second hand. Yeah, anyway, that was just a dig. So yeah. Now also, so a couple of the other things that I've got is a coil pack cover. It's actually stainless steel, so I'll be putting that on today. I have a brand new second-hand spoiler. So rather than that little low one that is on the car now, we're coming up a little bit higher. So I will get this Mickey Spunt. So while I'm at it, I will throw in a little bit of body work that I was doing during the week after work, and hopefully we'll get enough content to actually make this a decent sized video. So without further ado, I'm going to get into it. Right, well that's in. I also set the bob up the way that I want it, so that's good to go, and yeah, I'm happy with the look of that. I know being stainless steel it'll retain a lot of the heat, but I'm going to see how it goes, and yeah, I'll just monitor it for now. Oh yeah, awesome. While I'm at it, something you guys might know is that when you have something that's stainless steel, try and use stainless steel hardware on it. And the reason for that is stainless steel will not rust unless it's a shit stainless steel, or it comes into contact with carbon steel. So if you ever see stainless steel rust, that's the two only reasons why it would do so. And there we have it, one rear bar. So what I ended up doing was in here, right there, the very last thing that I did on the bar in the last section of the video was I put in a couple of riv nuts, one there and one there. And the reason I did that is to stop the horizontal movement of it this way. So as it is now, it's going nowhere, it's nice and solid. With only those two clips behind here, it still had some movement, but with the screws, the riv nuts, these two clips here, and of course the one for the number plate down there, number plate holder, that's solid as a rock. So I have a few more touch-ups to do, like this gel coat bubble and a couple of scratches, but other than that, that's ready to rock and roll. It's turned out good. So that worked really well. That did not. That was really bad. Too much work involved in that one. So I got in contact with a mob called Monkey Warehouse in Queensland, and they have shipped me out a set of top secret side skirts and a front bar. So hopefully they'll be a lot better than that rail side. And I also was able to stop the production of that rail side front bar. They hadn't started it yet, so I stopped that, got my money back, so all sweet. If it wasn't for those, I would have stuck with it because that's what my daughter wanted. But top secret bar is very close, and the side skirts for the top secret bar will go really well with that. And I do like the arse on that, that's really nice. I like it a lot. So there we go. So that'll be ready for paint when I'm done with the side skirts and front bar. Yeah. So I have started some work on this spoiler. I've sanded it down to get all most of the rough spots out, but it's just going to need a bit of filling. Various places, and then that way, if this project here fails, then, like I said, I'll fall back onto this. Right, I just had a GoPro mount failure, so I'm just going to quickly fiberglass something up and thread it so I can get the tripod to screw into this. Okay, so while I'm waiting for this to dry, I'll put you on the overhead mount up here, and then I'll start working on this. Right, in doing this, I've just had a brainwave. I think the issue with the fuel gauge is that this didn't go back on in the same place. So I know this one here is a good one, it's accurate, the oil pressure works, everything like that. So what I'm thinking I'll do is I'll put this one back in for now, and I'll see if I can get a set of white face for this. Now if I can get hold of a 320 km/h or even a 300 to replace this, because this Speedo is out and I have to calibrate it anyway using the corrector module, what I'm thinking is I could white face the whole thing, because this was hiding underneath that. So rather than have just these two here with a sort of a grey carbon fibre look, if I went with a white face set, I can then replace the whole thing and have it all uniform, rather than have these two look different to this one and this one. Like that. Because this doesn't make sense that there's not a carbon fibre, grey carbon fibre look face there, but there is under there. I hope you catch my drift here. I just want it to be all uniform. So in the meantime, what I'll do is I'll put this one back in. I know it's all accurate and it's only temporary, but then I also had a thought of spraying the back of it. So I've primed it and then I've given it a coat, a single coat. So I'll give that another couple of coats, and then I'll put that back together with this and then see how it looks. And then if I don't like that, or my daughter doesn't like that, I could always revert back to this one. So a bit of mixing up here, but I hope you're still with me. But I don't think that's the problem here. I think that just went in the wrong place. So what I'll do is I'll put this one back in, and then when I take this one out to replace it with this one, once I get a full set, then I'll make sure that the needle goes back in exactly the same place on this one. But that is still faulty. It's intermittent, and like I said, it'll shoot up to the 8. That's how it sits, instead of being around here somewhere. So I will be replacing that with that one. Hope you're with me. But in the meantime, while I'm waiting for paint to dry here, I'll mess around with this, because that's going to take a bit of massaging to get it back in, because the other brackets, you'll see when I'm doing it anyway, they're a bit shitty. So yeah, I'll put this away for now, and then I'll get into it, and then later on tonight I'll check and see what I can find to replace that set there. That's a plan. Alright, let's keep going. Okay, here's where I am at the moment. When I pulled these two clips off from the back of the climate control unit, I noticed that there was some tape wrapped around the harness. And when I peeled the tape off, there's a wire here which is supposed to be in here, but it's not. It's like somebody accidentally pulled the wire out of the back of the connector and couldn't be naffed working out where it went. So it could be either in that little hole there, hopefully you can see that, or that space there, or one of those two at the top. So what I need to do is go inside, have a look on the computer, on the manual that I've got, and see if I can get a pin-out diagram for a red wire with black stripe on the back of the control unit, and figure out where that wire goes, because I'm still not getting any heat. So that may control the valve to cycle the warm radiated air through this the back of, or through this unit here. There's a little mini radiator in there, and then when you shut that off, it doesn't circulate water through it to heat that radiator up, which then blows the air through the vents. So that may very well be the culprit. I mean, the climate control unit was naffed anyway, because it just wouldn't turn on and off when I needed it to. It just had a mind of its own. So I had to replace it anyway. But that one there has got me curious. That could be the problem with not getting the heat now. So I'll go inside, I'll have a look, and I'll see what I come up with. And yeah, we'll see. We'll go from there. If I can't find it, I'm just going to have to leave it out for now, put it all back in, and then make some inquiries online, and hopefully somebody will get back to me with where that's supposed to go. I don't know if any of you R33 freaks out there would know, and drop a comment, but we'll see what happens. These videos aren't getting a lot of views anyway, because R33s don't get much love, but you never know. So hopefully someone might be able to tell me where that goes if I get stuck. So we'll see what happens. I'll go inside now, have a look, because I'm dribbling big time here. I'm just going off topic. I'll go inside, have a look, and see if I can work out where that goes. I'll be back in a tick. Okay, I just performed a diagnostic on the climate control unit, and everything is fine except for these two error codes, 22 and 25. Now 22 is the inside air temp sensor, so there's a fault with that, and 25 is the sun load sensor, which is that sensor, the little round sensor up there on the vent. Now that could be because I'm not in direct sunlight, which is not a problem, but I'm thinking 22 is a problem because it is the inside air sensor. Now maybe that is causing the problem, I don't know, but I do not have a wiring diagram for the 33. I've looked online, there's nothing, so what I might need to do is contact a wrecker and see if they would be kind enough to have a look at one of their wiring looms, or if one of you guys can answer the question for me as to where that black or the red wire with the black stripe goes. So for now I'm just going to button all this back up, or retape that loose pin that is just floating around up here, just in case it grounds out or something like that. So I'll put it all back together and I'll proceed with the next thing. So I have to call defeat for now, but I will be back. Like, I have to redo this anyway, so I need to get to the point where I've got to pull all this back out again. So hopefully I'll have the information I need to sort this out. But what I'll do is I will do a tutorial on how to check this, do a test on the climate control unit, so you guys, if you ever come across this problem, you will actually see the different modes that you can enter, where it tests all the functions of the climate control and tells you whether or not there's any errors or anything like that. So yep, I'll get back into it and continue on. So right now I'm just going to go for a quick run down the road, because The last time I put my steering wheel on, it was on a bit of an angle, so I think I've got it right now, but I just want to test it. And you guys might also be able to hear the exhaust and decide whether or not the JJR is for you or not. As you heard, it's not too drony, but like I said before, all aftermarket exhausts are drony. This one's not too bad. Well, there's not much more left to do for the day, but next week there's going to be a shitload. I'm expecting so much stuff in that I am going to be busy for both days. So what I'll do now is I will mess around with this and see how the best way is to graft the two together so that it's one seamless unit. I also got to work out how to get this edge here to follow that piece there. So I'm probably going to be cutting those uprights off. Then I'll also be cutting into this and then getting this to work into here. Back there, of course, not where it is now, but you get the idea. So I'll set this up on time lapse and mess around with it, and that's pretty much it. That's all I can do for the rest of the day. Okay, I think I've got it where it needs to be. It still needs to come down a bit, but that's what's going to happen once I do a few things. So I want to get this gap here down as close to this part of the body as possible, which will take this contour here, and I'll be able to bring that contour up, mix it into here. Once I've done that, I'll shave through here and then join it into this. I need to cut all this out in here, not here, and then I'll be able to take this section here out and bring it up and graft it into here. So I'll still have my eye level brake light, which is a legal requirement. So that's taking care of that side of things. So that's also got to come down, and then this here will actually be the section where it joins this to the boot or the trunk, depending on where you live. So I've got it right where I want it. And then in the front, because this will no longer be here, this is going to be cut through here. This, I will bring this up into this part here, and then this here I will bring into this part here. So I'll still be able to retain the factory rubber gasket that sits under here, which waterproofs the top side of the boot. It's going to work. I'll get it to work. Then there's going to be laying down a fair amount of fiberglass mat, roughing all this up, grafting it into there, and then all you'll see is from here that will go into this. And you see that natural curve here? I'll get that to work in with this here. It's going to work. I'll get it to work. And that angle is where I want it, so it's not everywhere, it's basically just flat along this edge here. And you've got to use your imagination here with the right colour and down. So I think that is where I want it. I'm going to leave it like this and see what my daughter thinks when she gets home from horse riding. And if she likes it, then I'll go ahead and get it happening. So I've marked where this edge here, hopefully you can pick this up, needs to sit there, and the same on the other side here. And then I've marked here 320 mil to this tip here. So from there to here, level, is 320. I have my center line marking here. You might be able to see it. Here to here to here. So once I'm ready to rock and roll, what I will do is I will drive I will drive a couple of screws through into here, straight down, and then start working it. Yeah, I'll get that to work. And looking at it from the top, and you see this curve here is very close to this curve here, so it's almost like it was made for it, which is awesome. I think my bill will be happy with that. And then that way it looks like it's going to be valve side arse end with the valve side rear bar, and then the top secret side skirts and front bar. So those side skirts and front bar are sitting in Kenwick at the moment, which is a few suburbs away, which means I'll be getting them next week, during the week. So next week will be a lot of body work, getting those side skirts to fit in place. Pretty much the same sort of deal that I had to do with the rear bar. Massage it, get it ready. Once it's done, sort it out, get it painted, but not before finishing that, as long as my daughter likes it. So if she's good to go with that, I'll put that other Series 2 spoiler on here until everything's been painted, and then I can put it all together in one hit. Yeah, that's sexy. It's different, and I think that's what she was looking for. She wanted something different. The only thing I don't like about 33s is this. And I know you can get aftermarket boots where the boot will actually follow this, and that would have been an easier solution than what I'm doing here, but the boots themselves are like $600-700, whatever they are, and then you've got more messing around anyway to get them to fit, all the body lines, the gaps, everything correct. So to me this is a little bit more work, but at least you'll get that. Yeah, awesome. Alright, I'm going to leave that. That's me for the day. Day 14's done, and next week will be, like I said, a lot of body work. So until then guys, stay safe and I'll see you then.